Luapula is one of the provinces in Zambia endowed with rich natural resources enough to attract investment and bring about development in the province and Zambia at large. However, lack of modern infrastructure to support the existing resources has hindered development in the province. This is why government has embarked on a vigorous infrastructure program to develop the area. On this week's edition of News in Depth, we'll be looking at various infrastructure developments that are taking place in Luapula Province. I am your host, Mark Fasson Mkuka. Stay tuned. The name Luapula is derived from a local water body and one of the longest rivers in Zambia, the Luapula River. Being one of Zambia's 10 provinces, Luapula is home to over 1 million people. The province has 11 districts, with Mansa being the capital. Located in the northern part of Zambia, the province boasts of vast natural resources such as fresh water, which accounts for over 40% of the total water resources in Zambia. Regarded as the home of natural wonders, Luapula has 8 waterfalls. This gives the province a rare advantage to use its beautiful water resources to establish itself as a potential hub for investment. It is also in Luapula Province where one of the world's beautiful lakes, Lake Bangweulu, is found. Bangweulu is a local term which means the place where the water meets the sky. This is because the waters of Lake Bangweulu seems to blend with the sky at the horizon. This gives the province a lot of potential for tourism and mining, among other key areas of development. Sadly, the immense natural endowment of the province has not translated into development in the area.
Kweno msebo twali bipa telefa mtu wa misheko iskulu twakwata feri mutrefu akuti muturundireko nama teachers tatwakwata mutubikire pona ifpatala mutu iswire trechula msebo wako yakwaka banda kuchipatala wadio naika sana futurero mbako mkwai
koroshako ngatwarosha network yako afepachuru twalitoroshe ko bwafe mbuntu weshingona bena ifonga tefo kutamubata twata signal kumana kwa TV kumva batimba tureka ukuti twafasha kutifikwate
pataranga batureta no kutubikira po apa pene pa school apa pa fe school ringa limo so abana ba kufuma grade 1 up to grade 7 so abana bari wawa sana ngapo bafine bambinga bayinuka olo bambi ba ku school bafine bayinuka olo na ma teachers yali chepesha socho turefu aikama teachers nga mwatuletera ponisho buya ntashimwa chitashani mwatu wafwa.
Currently, the province is home to 8 cabinet ministers, including its provincial minister, Nixon Chilangwa. Against such a unique background, why then has the province lagged behind in development?
I'd like to think as Luapula we've stood back and thought somebody else somewhere in Lusaka or somewhere overseas are going to bring development to Luapula. So I like to think development, even at personal level. As an individual, if you want to move to the next level, you must put in efforts. You know, it's not like, you know, yeah, God in heaven is going to start doing certain things in your life before you do anything about it yourself. You know, we've got a local saying which says, "Lesa afwa abaya afwa." So we must start by ourselves. You know, we must start remodeling our thinking as people of Luapula Province, as individuals from Luapula Province, and as a province, as provincial administration. We must remodel our thinking. We must, the change we desire for Luapula must start with ourselves.
Out of the 11 districts in the province, Mansa, perhaps because of its location and the provincial capital status, has seen some development. An estimated 60% of the people in the province are directly or indirectly involved in the fishing industry, while others are engaged in farming, with cassava being the main crop grown. Some of the microeconomic activities taking place in the remotest part of Luapula Province a provision of hammer mill services to grind cassava for meal meal. Kennedy Musonda, a grade 9 pupil at Mukumbwa Primary School, runs his mother's hammer mill business, which happens to be the family's source of income.
Because abantu balesa abamataba bagaira songerwa fyalekana amale so alesa trade kumanga mafuma kachero mwabika mu bombo ya mafuta diesel so mwabika mo abantu bambo kwisa mambo kubagaira masaino ka 17 na 18 kuri business nimepedea mafuta yarapo fesinga tuashita bomba ya mafuta kuri 60 kwacha epede irapo 200 irafunya bomba tuamba 1 kwacha 2 kwacha 3 kwacha 5 na 6 kwacha.
Even so, the absence of modern infrastructure to support such economic activities still remains a major challenge. Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Development, Ronald Chitotela, says this is why government has embarked on an infrastructure development program with the aim of developing the province.
It is not a secret, Mukuga, that we are the poorest province in Zambia, which is very painful. Nobody takes pride in being a poor person. And the only way we can work to alleviate poverty, to create wealth in Luapula Province, is by taking infrastructure development as close to the people as possible, because infrastructure is a catalyst to any economic development. We need to put up housing, we need to put up the police stations, we need to put up hospitals, schools, because those who attract the private investors to bring their investments to Luapula, because they will be assured that they will have access to quality education, they will have access to social amenities as close as possible to where they are. Almost everybody will be proud to say, yes, I come from Luapula, because I can tell you, I'm not happy. I'm not proud to be associated with the poorest province in Zambia. We are doing everything possible to change that scenario.
A good road network is among the essential ingredients of development, as it facilitates the movement of goods and services. And this is what the traditional leadership in Chiengi is calling for.
The Kashikishu-Lunchinda Kapota Road. As you know, this was pronounced by the late President Sata and also President Lungu. And we have seen that the constraints of budget have meant that the Minister of Finance has to realign priorities for investment in the most economic growth areas. And we are saying that economies cannot articulate themselves without appropriate infrastructure. So to identify an area as a growth center, unless you have first set up the necessary infrastructure.
However, the good news is that the provincial leadership is aware of this challenge and has embarked on a road construction and rehabilitation program. The project involves construction of inner and feeder roads for both rural and urban districts of Luapula.
As a province, we're not talking about the urban roads or township roads. We are also talking about inter-district roads. We are also talking about markets and the bus stops. We are further talking about schools. We are talking about the newly created districts. The newly created districts, we have Chembe, we have Lunga, we have Mansabombwe, and last but not least, we have Chipili.
In Pambashe, government plans to construct a 4-kilometer embankment across Pambashe River. An embankment is a bank of earth or stone built over an area of low ground to carry a road or railway. The Pambashe River embankment will provide a base where a road to connect Mushota and Chama chiefdoms will be constructed. The development has elected Senior Chief Mushota of the Chishinga people in Kawamba district.
Twandimo n'ebintu ebingi tetwalesuubira ba secondary school ab'okukwata ne misebo ng'oyo tulenda omusebo walondoloka eri emirimo fyingi iyo mutubombere muri ino nchende sumuno mukishinga natukwata basanibedi okumulepanga amalaiti gwakyamamu ebere okupanga kwebisiba byamalaiti natu pali chirongo na pali chechipoma chimbi elio ukunako pantwani pali lumangwe kanshi milimo iyo iletulango okutira na efwe bene kuntanshi twalaisa abanga abantu n'abachona bakabwela bakasangena empanga kyalipo.
Unique Civil Constructors has been engaged to construct the embankment and is already on site.
This project and we're supposed to start maybe this year according to the program. If everything going properly, I try to organize when the water level is getting lower and intend to finish in 1.5 years. We'll discuss with the engineer according to the program and to make sure this water level should be getting lower, then we're going to start.
When do you intend to bring the materials in place?
Here we have plenty broad piece and we still have rubbles from the crusher. We blasted. I think we're going to use those stones and fill at the bottom first. Then, according to the design, we'll fill with gravel up to design level.
The Road Development Agency, RDA, is on hand to monitor the undertakings.
The project has progressed very well. As we speak, the overall progress stands at 82% in terms of the overall progress. So we have progressed significantly. What is outstanding is this 22 to 25 kilometers that is remaining between this point and the Mansa Luwing Road, and then the link from Chisembe to Chief Chama, and the newly included scope of the embankment between Senior Chief Mushota and Chief Chama.
In Samfya, upgrading of the 113-kilometer Samfya-Kasaba Road is equally in progress, but at a slow pace.
The works as of now stand at about 12% complete. The works started in June 2015 and were envisaged to be completed by January of 2018. There have been a number of challenges on this project. Among them has been cash flow. We have been defaulting in payment, and then of course this is a high rainfall belt. The rainfall activities have affected the rate of progression. Another challenge has been access to good gravel material. The distance to suitable gravel materials has been quite long, therefore impacting on the rate of delivery of the project. We are only happy that recently government has been pushing vigorously to ensure that all the contractors are paid the monies that were outstanding.
Construction of built infrastructure such as health facilities, schools and staff houses is also in progress across the province. A tour of some construction sites in the newly created districts shows that construction works of various infrastructure is taking place. In Mwansabombwe, construction of government administration block, a civic center, a police station and staff houses is underway. Similar developments are also happening in Chipiri, but with challenges.
In some of these projects started as far back as 2015. And if we are talking about the decentralization, taking power to the people, we need to be action-oriented. We must do things that translates or interprets our actions. And us as policymakers, if our civil servants are not supporting the decisions that we are making by making sure that the policies that we pronounce are implemented, they are letting us down. And then they are inciting the Zambian people to rise against us. If they are doing that deliberately, I usually say as a politician, I'm a casual worker, and on the journey of my casual work, I cause a lot of casualties. Those that don't want to tow our lines of thinking, who don't want to implement projects, obviously, we will not transfer them. We shall retire them.
Mr. Chitotela is also not happy with the behavior of local contractors who have abandoned sites in Mwansabombwe despite being paid their dues in full.
You can see that despite government's effort in making sure that we take power to the people, there are a number of factors that are frustrating that effort. Of course, one of them, each time I speak against the local contractors, they come and say, no, you are demonizing us. And I have told them, show me the capacity, demonstrate that you are able to carry out projects with lesser supervision and within the contract period. Obviously, previously they were crying, no, government was not paying. From the time I took over the office as Minister for Public Infrastructure, we have made sure that we give priority to the local Zambians. That's why, as at today, in all the districts in the northern region of Zambia, 70% of the contracts signed in Zambia have been fully paid for. So I don't expect any contractor not to work under the pretext that the government has not been paying.
The local people have their own thoughts regarding the construction of various structures. Those spoken to say priority should be given to schools, health posts and markets.
Turefa kuno Luapula kumyesu. Turefaya amaskulu. Turefaya market. Turefaya ifipatala. Ififintu turependa, ifintu ifya tutusha kuno kumyesu. Twalichulisha sana kuli ifintu twapenda. Ngana ifipala mine ifintu, nishikuti fya tuafa mbuika shibwesu.
Pabenga bombela po misebo, amaskulu, ifipatala. Pantunge fintu fimo, amawefa wa maternity bala basindo fuma kuno chimpempe kwa tala ukawambo kutalisana. Pa kutembla simi seba mbala fono mwatatu natuka ifipatala fimu pepi, na malaiti na isa mpepi, kutifia fintu filo mbeka mpepi, kupita na makabu teko fitungarisha foto shingona afyena.
Kutu iswire chipatala pepi pantunga tuwa ngawalu wala kuya kuliali mbitu wafuira muishira nangula umwana wafyalo wafa muishira nakulepa ku chipatala
amafya tushingwana nayo tulapose nshite iterisano kuyafika kubomo kwa tushiteko tuntu tumotumo kachaka twakwete kona ifo fintu mpepi chiringa boma na market tefingi twinga chulira.
On the issue of schools and teachers, the Ministry of General Education is taking stern measures. The ministry says Luapula Province will see a number of schools built and teachers deployed.
Luapula Province has a share, its own share of this province, of these schools which are being constructed, these secondary schools. Right now, for instance, we have inspected a new school being constructed in Kawambwa. There are some schools in Samfya. There are schools being constructed in many of the districts here, new secondary schools. And also on top of that, we have a program to upgrade a number of primary schools into full secondary schools. There are about 220 primary schools which are being upgraded into full secondary schools. That is 22 primary schools per province are being upgraded, and Luapula has its share of 22 primary schools which are being upgraded into secondary schools.
Child marriage and teen pregnancy, especially among school-going children, is rampant in the area. Sub-Chief Natende Walushiba, a representative of Chief Puta of the Wida people of Chiengi district, wants government to provide school boarding facilities in the area.
There's no boarding facility for girls or boys either. There is pressure for that facility to be established at Ponda Secondary School, which is one of the modern schools in the district of Chiengi. It will allow the girls staying outside the rented huts where they become vulnerable to all kinds of causes, particularly by our men folk many the well-to-do of the villages who are often officials in their status at the district level who go and make their pleasures with young girls at school in these little houses. I think this is a project that I think even the ministry, both the Ministry of Education and Ministry of Infrastructure are talking about and coordinating about, and we hope that it can be come to fruition quickly to save lives.
The Ministry of General Education is aware of the non-availability of boarding facilities at some secondary schools in the area.
The government's intention is to ensure that every child covering a very long distance has an opportunity to stay close to the school in a government facility. But of course, government intentions have not always been matched by the availability of resources for government to be able to meet this objective. So what we are now considering, we are talking to various people, and we are looking and exploring options as to how we can make these facilities available to our young girls and boys. And we are considering, for instance, the option of constructing low-cost structures, like prefabricated structures, which can be used as boarding facilities for girls.
Apart from the current infrastructure development taking place in the area, the provincial leadership believes there is room for improvement. In this regard, members of parliament in the province, working with other stakeholders, have teamed up to organize a Luapula exposition with the aim to sell the province to the outside world.
We are going to have an expo. Plans are underway, and we've been planning and meeting and consolidating plans on how this is going to be done and so on. So we are very, very much advanced in holding a Luapula Expo. We are calling it Luapula Expo 2017. And riding on the success of this expo, because it will be a success, we are going to move further toward these expos every single year. What is this expo about? An expo is an exposition to expose yourself, to tell the rest of the world, to say this is what we are made of, this is what we have. So this expo is about getting out into the rest of the country, to the rest of the world, the potential that Luapula has got. We want to sell our potential. We want to highlight what Luapula has got, the resources, the wonderful soils, the wonderful rainfall patterns, and it's all about calling everybody to just come and see. We are exposing ourselves to the rest of the world.
In such matters of development, local people who are the end beneficiaries are never short of advice.
ndeta shafe pafyo bakulire amasukuru na makliniki apa tulerwisha tibatukulireko boma batupereko na market emkwa ifyo feninge bakobuteko kuchibwinga twafuirishako
bayo mpi wese wa Luapula malera nda pakintu chimo before tuana pamisebo na bande pamisebo pa network pameshi twatura kumeshi ama boys batubafura tunda kwa boys bantu beshingi kutuma ipite mishina ngufona ngu5 ilo mwasange chima cha meshi mutikiro mufya ntango 3000 na 4000 nomba Devpt furo kubayo naba kumeshofura tuosha kutwatota ko ama boys akumira kwa meshi.
On the other hand, government has assured the people of Luapula of its commitment to developing the area.
I want to encourage them not to despair, that the government of His Excellency President Lungu is determined to make sure that Luapula is given its past glory. The President has directed all of us, ministers from Luapula, ministers in his government, that he wants Luapula to gain back its old days. He wants Luapula to get back to where we were immediately after independence. So he has directed us that deliberately we must develop, we must take infrastructure and economic development to Luapula, because Luapula in 2011 we were 0.4% below Western Province, but President Sata deliberately took a number of development to Western Province. Today the gap was widened between Luapula and Western Province. We are at 1.6% in terms of poverty. So we need to make sure that we bring Luapula to the level where it can be competitive in terms of business and economic activities in the country.
Luapula Province has great potential for economic development in tourism, agriculture, mining and hydroelectricity generation. The province's fertile land, abundant rainfall and water resources with its vast wetland potentially provide an opportunity to become the food basket of the northern circuit and the country at large. The 8 waterfalls in the province also makes the area eligible for hydropower generation. With the unique wildlife and bird species, archaeological sites and hot springs found in the province, there is no doubt that the area can be a pull factor of tourism. As such, the onus is on all stakeholders to translate this potential into tangible development. This is where we come to the end of this week's edition of News in Depth, where we've been looking at various infrastructure developments that are taking place in Luapula Province. I have been your host, Macpherson Mkuka. Be sure to join us next week for yet another exciting News in Depth program. For now, it's goodbye and God bless you.